Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and this is episode number 7 on how I'm coloring the mermaid in the bathtub. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody for all your wonderful emails and comments, and you're most welcome for the tutorial on how to color skin. A lot of people have have problems with that, and so really that's something I wanted to cover for you so that you would have it and would be able to do it. So this round I'm going to be working on the tail fin and also the scales. The tail fin, well, the tail and the fin. We'll get there. It's Friday, what can I say? And so this is the blank page. Excuse me while I shuffle those together for you. Let me change my camera angle just a tad. There we go. And let me show you the finished piece that I did. You can see that. And this is the piece now that I'm going to be working on. I also wanted to thank you for your comments about keeping the picture side by side. I think it's a great idea, so I'm going to do it. That way you can refer to what I'm doing or what I did and what I'm doing and really what I'm aiming for, which of course is the whole key with this. So I'm going to put these little guys side by side for you, and then we can go ahead and get you acclimated. Alright, so the first color you're going to be needing is the background, and my Putty is about to walk through, so she's going to walk over the steps while she gets in her box to keep me company. There we go. And remember, that's why I always told you to keep your lid on your little sharpening thing, because sometimes when she steps by, she bumps into it. And it only took me once to learn that lesson. So you can't blame her, they don't know. Alright, so the first color that I'm using, hopefully we won't have any focusing problems, is the Dark Flesh, and that is color number 150 of the Faber-Castell. There you go. And what I did is I wanted a very soft pink background. Now, I colored this around the tail on either side so you can see how it's going to look. Honestly, I didn't bother to color the whole wall on this because I'm not teaching you the wall. I'm teaching you the tail fin. So for now, I'm just going to do this part of it, and then you'll be able to see the rest. Alright, so what you need to do is, let me do one thing, however. I am going to pull this color down just a little bit to make a point here. Let's see here. And remember, every time I pick up the pencil, I'm rotating it, right? That'll save you. Alright. So, the whole idea here is we want the fins to look, of course, translucent or transparent. So what you need to do is take the color, this peach, again this is the, the Dark Flesh, and you want to color this in lighter, obviously, than the wall because the fins are in front of the wall. So let me turn this and go ahead and color that. I'm keeping it nice and light. And I'm also not coloring. Remember, I've told you this is don't color on the black lines because they are part of the design elements. And what? If you're in that much of a hurry to color that you're just going to color over the black lines, please stop coloring because that's not the point of adult coloring. So let's get this nice and light. My pressure is maybe about a 1. Because of course I've also told you is to let the pencil do the work. Now, also remember too that this is a copy of the page, so that's why my lines are gray instead of black. That's why I'm glad to have the reference piece for you so you can see exactly how this is going to look. So I want to color this in. And again, I'm going at a relatively quicker pace because, as again, I've done this several times. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Whew, sorry about that. Let's see, get this done. I hope everybody's week has gone well. It's Friday, July 1st. Our city of Cookeville, which is the main city. I live in Allgood, Tennessee, actually. And Allgood and Cookeville are like close neighbors. So when you address something to me, you say Cookeville, you don't say Allgood, and then of course my zip code. Okay, so let me get this other tail done. So we've got lots of firework going on, and the mayor of Cookeville is over at our park. It's called Dogwood Park. And actually, I'm working with him to help him with his communications with the city. He's taking video while he's there, so that's really cool. So he's a really great mayor. Oh my gosh, he's faith-based, Christian, and just very strong for the community. In fact, Cookeville, Tennessee has got the second best fireworks in the state of Tennessee, Nashville being the first. So we're pretty proud of that. But Mayor Ricky's really a great mayor, and I've been kind of mentoring him on how to use his communication techniques and some of the apps that are out there. So he had some really great video footage of the military bands that are there tonight. Just a fun time. He was broadcasting live. So that was pretty cool. Alright, so I've got the tail colored in. And I'm going to take my blender pencil. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and sharpen that a little. Now, because I sharpened it, I'm not, well, you know what? I am going to do that because I've really hounded that with you. Is what? Scrub off the tip. Yeah, see, there's a little bit of junk that still came off. So always, 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 just before you're going to use it, scrub off the tip. All right, so I'm going to use a very light pressure. And I'm going to smooth out that flesh color that I have. And let me show you something here. See how that black has gotten a little bit over on that color? One of the ways you can try to correct that is to take your blender pencil and push in one direction. So in other words, I'm pushing towards that black, which actually now is making it a little bit worse. Let's see if that's working. So now, I'm going to take my blender, or my pink, and I'm just going to gently color over that. And then I'll reblend that. But all in all, this isn't going to matter too much because we're going to be adding another color on top of this. So let's get that blended. Keep it as clean as you can. Pull back out again. And then, of course, when my hand starts laying on that side there, You know what I always tell you is get your paper towel. And use it to rest your hand on your surface. Keep it clean. And besides, it lets you slide your hand a lot easier. And if you really want to be picky about it, what I should have done is done this side first and then, moved over this way. But that's okay. We can do it this way. It's really just thinking about your hand placement and what you've colored and what you haven't colored. Doesn't make too much of a difference on this one because we're not dealing with a lot of complicated spaces, but when you're doing something like Johanna Bosford's pictures and you've got lots of flowers and stuff, if you're right-handed, work from left to right. If you're right-handed, you work from right to left. Kind of like painting. And again, I am not coloring over those lines, the black lines. I'm staying in between. Oh, and what I was saying earlier, again, remember this is a copy, so that's why my lines are the light gray instead of the black. Okay? Alright, so I've got that nice and smooth. We get these little guys side by side. A little bit of adjustment. Look away if you have to, if my wiggling camera bothers you. My Joby tripod gets a little cantankerous sometimes. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Ivory number 103 Faber-Castell. Now, this looks pretty cool, right? Because we've got the lighter color on top of the darker wall. But I still want to make that lighter yet. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this sideways. See if I can keep both in view. There, yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ivory and I'm going to color over my pink. And what that does is that starts to give a really nice shimmery, well, not shimmery, gauze-like color. Gauze effect. See the difference? It gets nice and smooth. Plus I can get rid of these boo-boos on this side here. And notice when I colored my black, this was dark black, and then I made it lighter and then dark again because of course we're going behind the fin here. Alright, let's do the other part of the tail. And don't forget, if you don't want to sit there and watch me color, you can fast forward through the sections that I've, already started to talk about. Now, you know that I do talk a little bit about the technique, though, so you can decide how you want to handle that, but that's fine. See the difference here? It's more pink here, and here it's more gauzy. And I'm pressing pretty firmly here. I'd say probably a 4, a 5. Now, keep in mind, one of the reasons I'm doing that is these are one of my Ridgy pencils. Remember I was telling you about that I accidentally bought the watercolor by mistake. That you can wet this and you get watercolor effect with it. So these you have to press just a little bit harder. If you have your standard pencils, the polychromos, you probably only need to press like a 2 or a 3. So I'm pressing a 4 or a 5, use your judgment. All right. Now, since I didn't do the green here, I'm going to shift to this top and talk about that a minute. And let me zoom in, because it's really the same principle. This area here underneath the tail that's over the wallpaper, you want to follow the same principle. You want to use a lighter version of the same color. So in other words, I used this blue and then I just went very, very light with the same blue underneath where the tail hits. Same here, same around this curve, and same here and there. And then with the green, I had my green color. I just use a lighter version of it underneath the tail. So don't let that panic you because I'm not coloring it tonight. I'm just not bothering with it because you can see how to do that. I've got confidence in you. You can do this. Just use a lighter color. Now, in the case of this green, you can go like a lighter yellow or a lighter greenish yellow if you want, because it's kind of hard to do a lighter version of this green. So what I did is I used more of a yellowish lime green to do this, and then the brighter green to do this part. But the blue, I used the same, I had this version of it, and then I just went lighter with it. So yes, this is two separate green colors, so I'm sorry I'm contradicting myself, my apologies. But I did use two different greens with that. Just let's pick out two colors, one a little darker, one a little lighter. Okay? So you want it to be lighter all the way through. Here's your light blue, and again, don't forget to hit those details. Even though this is a really teeny tiny spot of blue right there, color it. Don't just color it in green to get it done. Color it with the blue, because that's the whole point of adult coloring. All right. So back to my fins here. And I just finished using my ivory pencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gel pen and I'm going to assume that you don't have the ink pens that I use, the permanent ink. These are the pigment pens I use, the pigment liner, the Staedtlers. If you have them, great. If you don't, then these gel pens will work. But what I'm doing is I'm going to now draw my little lines here. And if your pen picks up your pencil, which it will, just keep cleaning it off on a piece of paper. But again, I'm just trying to emulate these streaks in the tail. Now, sometimes I draw them after I've colored the whole area, but if it gets too problematic for you, go ahead and color it before, and then you can just color around them. Because see, sometimes that pen does not want to quite ink over pencil. Alright. So what I'm doing is I'm cleaning off my pen on a piece of paper between strokes. And as I'm drawing these lines, I'm kind of going back and forth over a little bit so it doesn't get caught up with the pencil. Yeah, beautiful. All right, and don't draw too many of these lines. You don't want it getting too busy. So that's enough. All right, turn this. Now, what I'm going to do is go back with my pink pencil. Okay, this is my flesh, dark flesh. And to even lighten those lines more, I'm going to color over them. And I guess lighten isn't really the right word, it's to highlight them, because I want to highlight them here. And I'm working a little bit next to that each line. Let me find it. Okay. Just so close to it, they're touching each other. So you just want to go just next to it. If you hit it, no biggie. And I'm going to get my pen back. There's one little gap in here that I want to hit with that. Yeah. There we go. And you want to let your pen dry just a little bit. And if you want to go ahead, I'm just kind of picking up a little bit of color here again. Optional. Now, blender pencil. Couple of strokes on each one. Very light, just enough to merge it in. Now, if you don't like how many lines I've put in, you don't have to put in that many. Put in fewer ones. If you don't want any lines at all. See, after a while, you're going to develop your own taste. Okay. Now, here's the last little cool thing. On the original, hopefully you can see this. Let me get in like super, super close. See that glitter? There's glitter on there. Yeah, see, look at the lower right hand corner there. You can catch it. See that? Okay, there's the glitter there. All right. So, I use a product called Stickles, and if you've done scrapbooking, excuse me, you will recognize this. The color that I use is Stardust because it basically works through anything. Doesn't matter what your page is. This little guy is 0.5 fluid ounces. You can buy it in bigger bottles. And for this color, you probably want to buy it in the bigger bottle because you're going to use quite a bit of it. So, I'm shaking it up, and I'm just taking it and I'm putting just a little bit of some streaks on there. That one doesn't want to come out. Let's see. Get another one here. Isn't that beautiful? There we go. See how that's coming out? And put in the glob in there here. There you go. See that glob right there? So I'm going to put a little glob. You don't need a lot. Now, I went to Walmart and I bought myself some inexpensive brushes. Okay, this one has a little green on it. It shouldn't be a problem. The package was like $5.95 for a selection of them. And all I'm going to do now is very, very gently take my brush and just brush over that tail. Cool. And that's really going to soften up that ink in the pencil. Be sure that you brush parallel to the lines. Don't go this way, okay? And I'm just very lightly dabbing that on, and that whole fin is covered. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do this tail. Don't need a lot. I put on 2 streaks. See it right there? Look like teardrops. Alright. Take my brush. And I'm going to lightly spread that. And again, make very, very sure that you're going parallel. Now, if you need to add some more, this is a little trick I do, is I take my brush and I put a little dribble of the stuff on my brush, like that. Okay? And then I just go ahead and put that on there. Be sure you get to your edges. That's where I was getting into trouble. And don't work it a lot. When it's on there, quit. Quit, as the saying goes, quit while you're ahead. Excuse me for reaching in front of the camera. And then what you do is you just take a little bit of water. I have a cup of ice water here that I use to drink from. I'm going to dip my paper towel in it and wet it. And literally I'm just going to wipe off my brushes, which I'm doing right now. That's all you have to do. Just wipe them off on the wet paper towel. Just squeeze the paper towel around them and wipe. Then let them dry. Alright, so I put those away. And let's see how that's looking. Yeah, isn't that pretty? So see how we've got that going now? Let me show you my side by side. I'm just putting the lid back on. Again, this was Stickles Stardust, acid free for paper crafts. Good stuff. Stickles, comes in lots of colors. Alright, let me show you my side by side. And actually I'm not going to color the tail today because I'm almost at 30 minutes on the video and I don't really want to bore you to death. So, there's the one I did earlier. Here's the one I just did tonight. Isn't that beautiful? You put the closer. So what do you think? You like that? Comes out really beautifully. Now it's a little hard to see the glitter. I mean, you can see it, but yeah, I think it looks terrific. So I'm going to do one more video after this. I will color in the rest of the tail and do the shading on it so you can see how I did that. And then we should be done with the whole page because you can do the bathtub and the rest of the wall and the rest of the wallpaper. Alright guys, that's it. I'm ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. God bless you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thank you so much for all your comments and emails. Again, please be sure to like my video and tell your friends. And next video, I've got another announcement that I want to talk to you about. It's basically an upcoming project that I think you're going to love. And you know that I'm going to gear it towards beginners intermediate. All right, love you guys. God bless, and have a happy 4th of July. Bye.